Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 30th, the finale, and today I listened to Is This It by The Strokes. The Strokes released an EP before this, but this was their debut album, and it was met with a lot of success and critical praise. According to Wikipedia, The Strokes were a leading group of the early 2000s indie rock revival, which sounds very odd to me because when I think of early 2000s rock, I think of alternative rock, and I think of indie rock as something that came later. But then again, dissecting the nomenclature of musical genres seems almost pointless given how vague most of the definitions are. Actually, now that I think about it, the only thing I really use in my mind to differentiate indie rock and alternative rock is when it was released. Like, if it's after 2005 or 2006, it's probably indie rock in my mind, but whatever, I'm getting off topic. Whatever you want to call this genre of music, when I listened to Is This It for the first time today, my impression was that this sounds a lot like Franz Ferdinand. Though I guess it's more accurate to say that Franz Ferdinand sounds like The Strokes since The Strokes came first. I'd say as a pretty fitting way to end off the month, I thought that this album was decent. It's not quite as interesting as like A Melancholy in the Infinite Sadness or In Rainbows, but it certainly got more of a pop vibe to it than something like Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. All of these songs I would describe as pretty simple. They're all kind of that straightforward, poppy, Jimmy World early 2000s rock kind of stuff. And I do enjoy that kind of music, so I had a decent time listening to this album. My favorite song from Is This It was Hard to Explain. It just had this really good, like, driving energy behind it. One interesting thing about this album that separates it from most of the other ones I've listened to this month is that all of the really good songs are in the second half of the album. That has never been the case before. In every single example I can think of, they always front load the album. There were no songs from Is This It that I didn't like. I mean, there weren't a lot of really spectacular songs on it either. You could call it playing it safe, you can call it just sticking with what works. That's just sort of up to you. I mean, I think I would have preferred an album that took a few more risks as the final album of this year's Album April, but it's not like I had any other options. This was the only album left. So do I think that this album holds up? Yes, I do. Looking back on this year's Album April, my favorite album was Folklore, my least favorite album was Horses, and this probably falls somewhere right in the middle. And for those of you who actually watched me ramble about music with a crappy audio quality this entire month, I really appreciate it. If you want, I will do another one of these next year, but that's a while from now. And honestly, at this point, I'm kind of sick of listening to albums. I got some stuff planned for release soon, but it's not going to be anything that requires me recording me talking. It's more music, but whatever. Thank you for listening for this entire Album April. Have a great day. I'll see you later.